Hi everyone, this is Peter Corrales from Corrales Law Group, and today I want to take a little bit of time to discuss one of the visas that we process a lot in our office, which is the K-1 visa, very commonly known as a fiance visa. Now, first I'm going to go over the requirements, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about why people apply for K-1 visas and what the benefits are and disadvantages. So what are the requirements for a K-1 visa? Well, first, the petitioner has to be a U.S. citizen, so the person that wants to bring someone over to marry them, they have to be a U.S. citizen. This process does not apply to permanent residents at this time. The second requirement is you have to demonstrate that both parties are able to legally get married. That means that they're both of age or have their parents' consent, depending on what the situation is, and then we have to show that they are not already married. So if anyone has had a marriage in the past, you definitely are going to need divorce decrees to show that they are legally capable of getting married once they enter the United States. Also, a very interesting requirement for the K-1 visas is you have to show that the two parties have met in person within the past 2 years before you file. Now, this requirement has an exception, but the only exception is when the petitioner, the U.S. citizen, would have some sort of extreme hardship in traveling to the other person's country. We do see this as some sort of a barrier for these kind of visas, because a lot of people are meeting each other online these days and don't have that physical meeting. So this can be an obstacle for some people that want to apply for a K-1 visa. However, if you've met the person, even if it was once like a year and a half ago, but you've kept in communications through Skype or email or phone, then this requirement is met and you can process a K-1 visa. But it's very important to note that if you're kind of on the edge of 2 years, you might want to petition for the K-1 visa before those 2 years run. Now, you do have to show USCIS that you intend to get married to this person within 90 days of them entering the United States. 90 days is the amount of time you have to marry them without needing a waiver or anything of that sort. So what do you use for evidence? Well, you use a lot of the same evidence that we use for a regular marriage case, which is pictures together. If you have engagement rings, you want to show USCIS those. You want to show that you've traveled to visit this person. You want to show pictures with their family. You want to show any sort of wedding plans you might have if you already have a place picked. You want to show receipts of that. The more evidence, the better. And I will go ahead and put up this checklist that we use on our website, so you can look through it, and we have a lot of ideas as to what you can show for intentions to get married. Now, if the petitioner has some sort of criminal history, it's really important to speak to an attorney, because there are some rules against petitioners that have histories of domestic violence or any sort of violent crime history. So if you have a sort of a criminal history and you intend to petition for someone on a K-1 visa, please speak with an attorney before you do so to make sure that it's a case that will be approvable. Now, all this is done on form I-129 with F supplement. You want to fill out the form, attach all the relevant evidence, and send it to USCIS with a fee, which right now is $340. Once USCIS approves the K-1 visa, it'll be forwarded to the consulate at the country where the beneficiary is located. They will then attend an interview and be allowed to enter the United States if it's approved at the consulate. And then the petitioner and beneficiary have 90 days after entry to get married and file for an adjustment of status for that person, where they'll get their green card or residency. Now, one of the biggest questions we receive in our office is, well, what's better? Should I do a K-1 visa, or should I just travel to the beneficiary's home country, marry them, and then bring them in as my spouse? Well, there's advantages and benefits to each situation. The advantage of the K-1 visa is that at this time, it's actually processing a lot faster. So if time is the important factor for the couple, then I would suggest the K-1 visa right now. The disadvantage is it's a little more expensive because it's a multi-step process. You're having to pay for the K-1 process, then for the consular processing process at the NVC, and bringing the person in on the K-1 visa. And then once they're here and the couple gets married, then they have to apply for an adjustment of status. The I-130 process, if you travel to the home country, there's still some expenses associated with traveling to the beneficiary's home country, obviously, and then getting married. It does take longer, but it's all done in one one process. The person ends up in the United States as a resident. Now, if someone's applying for a K-1 visa for a fiance, and that fiance has children, they would also qualify for K visas as dependents of the K-1 holder. So if you're thinking about this process, you can always ask us questions or leave comments below. We process a lot of K-1 visas in this office, and it's a really good tool for somebody, who may meet someone abroad during school or work travel, and they really want them to come over to get married. This is definitely one of the options. So again, my name is Peter Corrales from Corrales Law Group, and thank you for watching.